Though these men stand as celebrated icons in the entertainment world, their personal journeys were shaped by turbulent marriages. Fame and fortune couldn't shield them from the heartbreak that came through the women closest to them. From brief romances to crushing financial struggles, the stories of these 15 legendary black figures reveal that their deepest challenges didn't come from rivals, but from within their own homes. What the public sees is only the surface. Behind the spotlight are shocking twists and unspoken resentments. Think you really know these men? If yes, type 1 in the comments. If not, drop a 0. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes of Outstanding Black Legends, where we dive into the hidden truths behind Hollywood's most dramatic marriages. O.J. Simpson once stood as the very image of American success. A record-breaking NFL star, he smoothly crossed into Hollywood with memorable roles in the Naked Gun series and later became a respected sports commentator. His name was known in every household. But everything changed when his life became entangled in one of the most infamous criminal cases in U.S. history, a storm that began with his fractured marriage to Nicole Brown. O.J. first met Nicole Brown in 1977 when she was just 18, working as a waitress at a Beverly Hills nightclub. At the time, O.J. was still married to his first wife, yet he chose to leave that chapter behind to pursue Nicole. They wed in 1985. Nicole wasn't a typical Hollywood beauty queen, but she had a presence and charm that completely captivated O.J., who grew dangerously obsessed with her. Though Nicole never fit the mold of a conventional Hollywood beauty, she was the woman O.J. Simpson chose to have by his side. Yet life inside their Brentwood mansion was far from the perfect picture. Their marriage was consumed by jealousy, violent arguments, and emotional chaos. At one point, Nicole called 911 in terror, saying O.J. would kill her. Even O.J. later admitted to destroying furniture during their explosive fights. The divorce in 1992 did not end their toxic connection. Nicole's alleged affair with Marcus Allen, one of O.J.'s closest friends, drove him into a spiral of rage and paranoia. He stalked her, sent threatening messages, and remained convinced she still belonged to him. Despite being legally separated, O.J. continued paying Nicole $1,000 a month, even as lawsuits and debt dragged his finances into ruin. Then, on June 12, 1994, tragedy struck. Nicole Brown and her friend Ron Goldman were found savagely murdered outside her home. The horrific crime scene triggered a trial that would become known as the trial of the century. Though Simpson was acquitted in the criminal case, the 1997 civil trial held him liable for the murders, ordering him to pay $33 million in damages. The cost of this tragedy went far beyond money. It shattered the very reputation O.J. Simpson had spent a lifetime building. His story ceased to be about athletic triumph or Hollywood fame, and instead became a cautionary tale of obsession run wild, how a beloved sports icon ended up forever tied to one of the darkest chapters in American crime history. From his whirlwind marriage to Nicole, to the devastating events that followed, every step seemed fueled by ego jealousy and a love that twisted into something destructive. It was a tragedy stretched across years, marked by bitterness and betrayal, a truth that could never stay hidden. Ray Charles, the musical genius behind timeless classics like Georgia on My Mind and I Got a Woman, is forever remembered as one of the greatest innovators in music history. His impact on soul, blues, and gospel is undeniable. Yet while the world celebrated his unmatched artistry, his personal life told a very different story. In 1955, Ray Charles married Della Beatrice Howard Robinson, a woman who to the public eye seemed ordinary and far removed from the glitz of show business. She didn't carry the glamorous image many expected from the wife of a legendary musician, yet that was never what drew Ray in. What mattered most to him was the loyalty and trust he believed he found in Della. Together they raised 3 sons, with Della devoting herself to family life, while Ray pursued his musical dreams. Still, their union was far from perfect. Ray's demanding career kept him on the road for long stretches, and during those times Della's lifestyle grew increasingly extravagant, from luxury clothing to lavish trips. By the late 1960s, whispers began to circulate about her involvement with someone from Ray's inner circle. Those whispers eventually grew into a scandal. When longtime friends like Quincy Jones spoke openly about the rumors, Ray's carefully guarded personal life began to collapse. Along with the sting of betrayal, Della's unchecked spending left them drowning in debt, and the cracks in their marriage pushed Ray into one of the most chaotic chapters of his private life. As Ray Charles battled the grip of heroin addiction and the relentless demands of his career, the weight of his wife's extravagant lifestyle became impossible to bear. In 1977, after 22 years together, the couple finalized their divorce. Della was awarded custody of their children, a settlement of $1 million, an enormous sum for the time, and a lavish home in Los Angeles. The split was more than an emotional wound. It pushed Ray to the brink of financial collapse. Already facing tax troubles and declining record sales, the divorce nearly stripped him of everything he had built. Yet Ray never spoke ill of Della in public. Behind his iconic sunglasses, he concealed the pain, choosing instead to keep performing and slowly rebuild his career. The marriage he once thought would anchor his life left a scar he could never erase. Beneath the soul-stirring lyrics that defined his music was a man fighting to regain the very things he had lost: trust, peace, and love. Ray's story is a powerful reminder that even music legends are not immune to heartbreak, and invisible truth that no spotlight or stage could ever hide. Sam Cooke, often hailed as the very soul of soul music, gifted the world with timeless classics like "You Send Me" and "A Change Is Gonna Come." More than just a singer, he became a symbol of black artistry and influence in America, showing how music could be both beautiful and transformative. Yet while his professional star soared higher than ever, his personal life grew tangled in betrayal, ambition, and secrets too heavy to stay hidden. In 1958, Sam married Barbara Campbell, a woman he had known since his teenage years in Chicago. Barbara wasn't a celebrity or a style icon, but she was the steady anchor in his life as fame began to surround him. Still behind closed doors, their marriage was quietly eroding, ticking down toward an inevitable breaking point. As Sam's career exploded and constant tours kept him away, Barbara remained at home raising their children. But whispers began to spread. Sam was often linked to late-night affairs and reckless escapades, while Barbara faced her own rumors of being involved with a local bartender. Each suspicion only added fuel to a fire already threatening to consume their marriage. The rumors surrounding Sam Cooke's marriage finally erupted into undeniable reality at his funeral in 1964. when a man appeared wearing Sam's ring and watch, leaving his family stunned. What had once been dismissed as gossip suddenly revealed itself as truth. Just 77 days after Sam's death, Barbara remarried Bobby Womack, Sam's close friend and protege. The marriage sparked outrage, made worse by Bobby choosing to wear Sam's clothes at the wedding, a gesture that felt like the ultimate betrayal. Sam's family, especially his brother Charles, couldn't accept such disrespect and physically confronted Bobby. Yet the turmoil was only beginning. After the wedding, Barbara discovered Bobby's shocking affair with her teenage daughter, Linda. Enraged, Barbara reached her breaking point and shot Bobby in their home in 1970. Though he survived, their marriage collapsed soon after. The fallout left Barbara's reputation forever scarred. Accusations swirled that she had exploited her position during her marriage to Sam, gaining control of his music catalog and business while diverting profits to herself and Bobby. Meanwhile, Sam's children were left with little inheritance. What followed was a dark cycle of betrayal, manipulation, and greed, a tragic legacy that tainted not only Barbara's relationships, but also the memory of one of soul music's greatest voices. The musical empire Sam Cooke built with faith, talent, and relentless drive was slowly stained by bitter legal fights and fractured royalties. For a man who sang of love, justice, and hope, his personal story ended as a tragic opera. While the world grieved his untimely passing, few understood the depth of the wounds left behind by the woman who once carried his name, a legacy forever shadowed by betrayal and loss. James Brown, celebrated as the hardest-working man in show business, changed the face of American music with his electric energy and revolutionary funk rhythms. With timeless hits like Papa's Got a Brand New Bag and I Got You, I Feel Good, he became a living legend. Yet behind the dazzling suits and unstoppable stage presence was a man whose private life unraveled, scarred by turbulence, none more so than his stormy marriage to Adrienne Rodriguez. In 1984, James Brown married Adrienne Rodriguez, a backstage worker and aspiring model. She wasn't the glamorous diva the world expected for a global superstar, and the press often mocked her, labeling her too rough for the godfather of soul. Yet it wasn't her appearance that made the headlines, it was the chaos and instability that defined their relationship. From the very start, their marriage was riddled with turmoil. Their lives spiraled into a haze of wild parties, drugs, and constant clashes. In 1988, both were arrested for drug possession when police uncovered narcotics in their home. Friends later recalled that their relationship felt like a ticking time bomb, one that could erupt at any moment. Adrienne accused James of physical abuse while he countered with allegations of assault against her. On top of this toxic cycle, Adrienne's lavish spending habits fueled even more tension. Reports say she blew through hundreds of thousands of dollars annually on designer fashion, luxury cars, and extravagant vacations, all while James battled mounting financial troubles and tax woes. Despite being crippled by tax debts and endless lawsuits, James Brown's financial empire steadily unraveled while Adrienne continued to live lavishly, pouring money into beauty treatments, jewelry, and late nights at clubs. By the mid-1990s, Brown's health was failing and the weight of his career was heavier than ever. Still, Adrienne remained a fixture at his side in public, even as whispers of an inevitable divorce grew louder. Then in 1996, tragedy struck when Adrienne died suddenly from complications during a cosmetic surgery. Though her death was officially ruled an accident, many close to Brown believed that years of drug abuse and emotional turmoil had left her body too fragile to recover. James Brown never truly healed from the loss. Though he lived another decade, passing away in 2006, his final years were consumed by lawsuits and declining health. It was a heartbreaking end for a man who once defined an era of music, a legend whose life off stage was as turbulent as the rhythms that made him immortal. Despite his turbulent and painful marriage to Adrienne, James Brown kept his deepest feelings about her private, a woman who was both his partner in the spotlight and nearly his undoing. Their union became one of the most troubled and complicated marriages in music history. A tale fueled by fame excess and emotional destruction, it exposed the darker shadows of the rock and roll lifestyle. For a man who brought the world joy and energy through his music, James Brown's relationship with Adrienne felt more like a tragic performance, a dance that ended in silence instead of the explosive rhythms he was famous for. Their downfall remains a stark reminder that fame and personal happiness don't always go hand in hand. Do you believe true love can overcome appearances? Drop your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful and inspiring stories from the stars. Marvin Gaye, a poetic musical genius, gave the world unforgettable hits like What's Going On and Let's Get It On. His art blended sensuality with piercing social commentary, reshaping American music forever. Yet behind the brilliance of his career, his marriage to Anna Gordy, the sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy, was fraught with manipulation, jealousy, and painful power struggles. Marvin and Anna tied the knot in 1963 despite the nearly 17-year age gap between them. Their marriage raised eyebrows as Anna was often described as stern, distant, and far more controlling than affectionate. Yet Marvin, eager to win approval within the Motown circle, found himself drawn to her authority and the sense of stability she appeared to provide. Behind the closed doors of their home, however, the marriage grew suffocating. Leveraging her status as Berry Gordy's sister, Anna enjoyed a lavish lifestyle built on Marvin's rising success. Extravagant jewelry, expensive cars, and prime real estate became her norm while Marvin wrestled with creative struggles and deep emotional unrest. The couple presented a picture of family life with their son Marvin Gaye III. But the shocking truth was that the boy was actually the biological child of Anna's niece, Denise Gordy. Marvin and Anna had adopted him, burying the truth beneath the surface. This revelation fractured the fragile trust between them and added another painful layer to their already turbulent marriage. After 14 years of tension, exhaustion, and emotional collapse, Marvin and Anna's marriage finally came to an end. But Anna demanded a steep price. She insisted that Marvin's next album be used to pay her settlement. With $600,000 on the line, Marvin poured his heartbreak into Here My Dear, a raw and brutally honest musical autobiography that laid bare the wreckage of their marriage. Though it was dismissed as a commercial failure upon release, the album later gained recognition as one of the most searing breakup records ever made, capturing the pain, bitterness, and despair of a man emotionally drained by love turned toxic. Following the divorce, Marvin's struggles only deepened. He sank into financial ruin, battled drug addiction, and faced a decline in his once unshakable artistry. The tragedy reached its final devastating climax in 1984 when Marvin was fatally shot by his own father during a heated family argument, a heartbreaking end for a genius who had redefined American music. Marvin Gaye and Anna Gordy's marriage was never built on love or tenderness. It was a collision of ambition, control, and deep emotional scars. Marvin's fall from the heights of musical genius to his tragic end reveals just how destructive toxic relationships can be not only to the artist, but to everyone drawn into their orbit. Smokey Robinson, the Motown legend with a velvet voice and timeless classics like Cruisin' and Tracks of My Tears, became an icon of romance and passion through his music. Yet behind the polished image, his nearly 30-year marriage to Claudette Rogers, a fellow member of the Miracles, was far from the love story fans imagined. Adored by the public, the couple's private life was marked by quiet betrayals, emotional distance, and resentments that deepened over time. Smokey and Claudette married in 1959 during Motown's golden rise, and quickly became one of the most admired couples in the music world. Claudette, celebrated as the First Lady of Motown, was not only his wife, but a trailblazer for women in the industry. Yet as the years passed, the glow of their public life began to conceal a growing darkness. The golden couple, once viewed as the embodiment of harmony, now faced widening cracks driven by personal conflicts and clashing career demands. Claudette, often living in the shadow of her husband's fame, frequently clashed with Smokey over his relentless schedule and his wandering eye. The heartbreak of multiple miscarriages weighed heavily on her, adding distance to an already strained marriage. Over time, Claudette also developed a taste for extravagance, spending lavishly on fashion jewelry and real estate. Reports suggest her yearly expenses surpassed $200,000, forcing Smokey to drain his music royalties just to sustain their high-profile lifestyle. Whispers of an affair between Claudette and a prominent music executive lingered in the background, though never confirmed. Still, the real damage came not from rumors, but from the slow decay of trust. Silent arguments, unspoken resentment, and emotional withdrawal turned their once warm home into little more than a business arrangement. By 1986, after decades of hidden tension and emotional collapse, Smokey Robinson and Claudette Rogers finalized their divorce. Though the split avoided tabloid scandal, the cost was steep. Claudette walked away with $3 million and a substantial share of Smokey's Miracles royalties. For Smokey, the end of their marriage was not just a financial blow, it stripped away the emotional anchor he had relied on for nearly 3 decades. After the divorce, Smokey Robinson continued performing and releasing solo albums, but his music carried a different tone. The love songs that once radiated passion became more introspective, infused with melancholy and reflection. The hopeful spark of his early years had dimmed. In interviews, Smokey admitted the split left him emotionally broken and financially drained. His melodies of love now held a weight of sorrow, the kind that can only come from living through heartbreak. Smokey Robinson remains a Motown legend, celebrated for his soulful ballads. Yet despite his extraordinary talent, his marriage to Claudette Rogers ended in quiet devastation. Their story reminds us that even the smoothest voices can't always sing their way to a happy ending. Behind the romance and the music were unseen tears and silent fractures, conflicts that not only cost him millions but also carved deep emotional scars. Muhammad Ali, the fiery boxing icon whose confidence captivated the world, became a symbol of strength, transformation, and resilience. But behind the brilliance of his public persona, Ali's life took a tumultuous turn with his whirlwind marriage to Sonji Roy. What began in passion and haste soon unraveled into one of the most painful and pivotal chapters of his personal journey. Ali met Sonji Roy shortly after his legendary victory over Sonny Liston. With her bold personality and unapologetic independence, Sonji immediately captured his attention. But as Ali embraced the Nation of Islam and its strict principles, their marriage began to unravel. Sonji resisted the rigid religious and social rules he tried to impose, refusing to conform to the lifestyle he had chosen. While Ali immersed himself in training and faith, Sonji turned to parties, luxury, and reckless spending, widening the gulf between them. As whispers of Sonji's infidelity surfaced, Ali was crushed, enduring public humiliation, while already burdened with political and professional battles. At the height of his struggle against the Vietnam War draft, Sonji filed for divorce in 1966. The split didn't just wound him emotionally, it struck at his spirit during one of the most defining and turbulent moments of his career. The divorce left Ali without the partner he had trusted most, forcing him to navigate both a personal and spiritual crisis alone. Stripped of his boxing license and vilified in the public eye, he faced some of his darkest days. Though Ali would remarry and ultimately find peace later in life, his chapter with Sonji Roy remained unforgettable, a story of clashing values, broken expectations, and the collapse of a marriage that once seemed destined to endure. Lionel Richie, the unmistakable voice of the 1980s, was adored not only for his timeless ballads, but also for his charm and devotion to both music and family. Yet behind the glamour, his first marriage to Brenda Harvey was far from the fairy tale it appeared to be. Their union unraveled in scandal, leaving Lionel to face public criticism and a reputation suddenly clouded by controversy. Lionel and Brenda met as students at Tuskegee University. Though Brenda wasn't a star, she was a steady and loyal partner through Lionel's early struggles. They married in 1975 and later adopted Nicole Richie, the daughter of a close friend. To the outside world, they seemed like the perfect family. But as Lionel's career soared, cracks began to form. Rumors swirled about affairs, particularly with dancer Diane Alexander. In 1988, Brenda's heartbreak boiled over. She followed Lionel to Diane's Beverly Hills apartment, where a shocking confrontation erupted. Brenda attacked both Lionel and Diane, an incident that ended with her arrest for trespassing and battery. The scandal rocked Hollywood, tarnishing Brenda's public image, while painting Lionel as the wounded husband caught in a storm of betrayal and violence. Their divorce was finalized in 1993, with Brenda receiving a substantial settlement of assets and alimony. Though Nicole primarily lived with Brenda, she remained close to Lionel, keeping her bond with him intact. While Lionel's career pressed forward, the shadow of scandal lingered. His later albums failed to reach the same heights, and his personal life remained under constant public scrutiny. The story of Lionel Richie and Brenda Harvey is more than a tale of betrayal and violence. It's a cautionary reminder of the heavy toll fame can exact on personal lives. Some fans condemned Brenda for her actions, while others sympathized, seeing her as a victim of neglect and the crushing pressures of Lionel's success. Ultimately, their marriage shows how fame doesn't just strain careers, it can fracture even the most devoted relationships. Quincy Jones, a towering force in 20th century music-shaped history, with productions like Michael Jackson's Thriller and unforgettable collaborations with legends such as Frank Sinatra. His influence on global music is immeasurable. Yet behind the brilliance of his career lay a marriage to actress Peggy Lipton, a relationship that revealed the heavy cost of misplaced trust and the illusions often created by public perception. In 1974, at the peak of his career, Quincy Jones married Peggy Lipton, the actress best known for her role in The Mod Squad. Their union was hailed as a symbol of racial progress, a black man and a white woman standing together during one of America's most racially charged eras. While the world applauded their marriage, others quietly questioned whether the harmony on display truly reflected the reality behind closed doors. Peggy Lipton's minimalist style and unconventional looks didn't fit the traditional image of a glamorous wife for a global music mogul like Quincy. Yet despite public criticism, Quincy adored her. The couple went on to have two daughters, Rashida and Kadada, and for more than 15 years their family appeared to embody stability and love. But beneath the polished surface, cracks began to form. Peggy's growing obsession with wealth and social status started to erode the foundation of their marriage. She hosted extravagant parties, purchased beachfront homes, and splurged on expensive jewelry and designer fashion, all funded by Quincy's success. By the late 1980s, as Quincy devoted himself to massive global music projects, financial strain and mounting tension placed unbearable pressure on their once solid bond. By the late 1980s, whispers of Peggy Lipton's affair with a fellow actor began to spread, whispers that friends soon confirmed were true. Quincy Jones, heartbroken but steady, chose to face the betrayal with dignity. In 1990, he quietly filed for divorce. The settlement shocked many as Peggy walked away with an estimated $5 million, along with prime real estate and valuable royalties. For Quincy, a man who had launched some of the greatest artists in history, the divorce wasn't just a financial hit, but a devastating emotional blow. The woman he had once leaned on as his anchor had become the source of his deepest hurt. In the years that followed, Quincy poured himself back into his work. He continued producing award-winning projects, championing new talent, and securing his legacy as one of the most influential figures in music. Yet the scars of his marriage to Peggy Lipton lingered, a painful reminder that even the most accomplished can be undone by misplaced love and broken trust. Quincy Jones, who once believed that music and marriage could exist in perfect harmony, was left facing a harsh and lingering low note after his split from Peggy. What had once been celebrated as a symbol of racial progress collapsed in betrayal, leaving him with both emotional scars and financial devastation, a staggering downfall for the man who helped define the very sound of the 20th century. Gary Coleman, the beloved child star of Different Strokes, won the hearts of millions with his unforgettable catchphrase, "What you talking about, Willis?" Yet behind the bright lights of television, his life was marked by exploitation, illness, and heartbreak. His adult years stood in painful contrast to the fame of his childhood as he battled lifelong health problems caused by congenital kidney disease and stunted growth. In 2006, Gary met Shannon Price, a woman nearly 17 years younger than him, while working on the film Church Ball. She wasn't a public figure, nor did she resemble the glamorous Hollywood image many expected, but Gary, desperate for connection and stability, married her in 2007. What followed was nothing short of a nightmare. Their relationship quickly spiraled into shouting matches, verbal abuse, and even documented physical altercations. Less than a year after tying the knot, the couple divorced, yet Shannon remained in Gary's home under Utah's common law marriage provisions. By 2008, their divorce proceedings revealed the depth of their toxic bond. Gary admitted to struggling with anger issues, while Shannon described herself as an unwilling caregiver, often voicing resentment over the responsibility of looking after him. Friends and neighbors later testified to seeing Shannon slap Gary in public and berate him harshly. Eventually, Gary sought a restraining order accusing her of both physical and emotional abuse. Then, in 2010, tragedy struck. Gary Coleman suffered a fall at home that led to a fatal brain hemorrhage. Despite his written request to remain on life support for at least 2 weeks, Shannon authorized doctors to remove his breathing tube after just 2 days. Her frantic 911 call more panicked than compassionate fueled outrage and suspicion, leaving the public divided, and Gary's final moments clouded in controversy. The situation grew even darker when Shannon tried to seize Gary's estate with a handwritten 2007 will, one that held no legal weight after their divorce. Adding to the outrage, she secretly sold photos of Gary on his deathbed to tabloids, profiting from his final vulnerable moments. By the time of his passing, Gary's net worth had dwindled to only a few $1,000s, a heartbreaking decline from the millions he once earned. He left the world in betrayal and loneliness, his life scarred by both personal and financial tragedy. Gary Coleman's marriage to Shannon Price was more than just a mismatch. It became the final crushing chapter of a life already defined by hardship. The child star who once brought joy to millions spent his last years trapped in a toxic, exploitative relationship. His dignity, peace, and ultimately his life slipped away in the chaos. It was not merely a story of exploitation, but a devastating tale of love twisted into betrayal and loss. Hank Aaron, one of America's greatest baseball icons, symbolized perseverance, determination, and unshakable talent. With more than 700 home runs, he set a record that seemed untouchable for generations. Yet behind his extraordinary career, Hank's personal life carried struggles that revealed the difficult balance between triumph on the field and turmoil at home. In 1973, Hank Aaron married Billy Suber, and to the outside world, they looked like the perfect couple. Billy, a strong and intelligent woman, stood by Hank through the triumphs and the hardships of his career, from the pressures of breaking records to the financial challenges that came with life beyond baseball. Yet like any marriage, theirs was not without struggles. In the 1980s, as Hank Aaron's career began to decline, so did his relationship with Billy, facing new strains. They confronted personal challenges, including loss and financial burdens. Billy worked tirelessly to support Hank through these difficulties, but like any couple, they couldn't escape tensions and conflicts. Hank Aaron and Billy Suber remained married until his passing in 2021. Through every challenge, their love and commitment stood strong. Their marriage became a cornerstone of Hank's legacy, a testament to perseverance, loyalty, and the power of mutual support in the face of life's greatest trials. Al Green, the legendary soul singer and master of love ballads, seemed to embody sincerity and romance in every note he sang. Yet behind the tender melodies, his personal life told a far more complicated and painful story. His marriage to his first wife, Shirley Kiles, revealed a journey filled with tension and heartbreak. Al and Shirley married in 1977 after years of courtship. But the man who gave the world timeless love songs soon faced a reality that clashed with the passion of his lyrics. As his devotion to music deepened, Shirley felt increasingly neglected and emotionally abandoned. The demands of fame and a relentless touring schedule widened the distance between them. Financial pressures, lifestyle clashes, and the weight of celebrity only made things worse. While Al Green continued to shine on stage, his personal life was cracking beneath the surface, with the couple drifting further and further apart. The breaking point came in 1974. After a heated argument, Shirley set fire to their home, leaving Al with severe injuries. Though he miraculously survived, the incident marked a turning point that changed the course of his life forever. Their marriage quickly collapsed after the tragedy, and years of personal hardship led Al to seek comfort and renewal in faith. Stepping away from the spotlight, he turned to religion, becoming a pastor and finding new meaning in serving his community. Al Green's story is more than that of a music legend. It is a powerful lesson in resilience, forgiveness, and the pursuit of inner peace. While his love songs still echo around the world, the struggles behind them remain a misunderstood but essential part of his legacy. What looked like a glamorous marriage from the outside left behind wounds far deeper than anyone could see. Al's life and career took a turn few could have predicted as his new devotion to faith and spirituality clashed with Shirley's desire for wealth, luxury, and social prestige. Even as one of the most respected voices in R&B, famous for his silky falsetto, Al Green couldn't escape the turmoil of living with a partner whose ambitions pulled in the opposite direction. While Al searched for peace through gospel music and ministry, Shirley longed for material comfort, pushing their relationship into constant conflict. The betrayals, arguments, and widening divide slowly extinguished their love. Their breakup was not only emotional but financial, with Shirley filing for divorce and demanding a significant share of Al's fortune. The result left Al scarred both physically and emotionally, forced to endure public criticism and painful accusations while trying to reconcile the man he was with the man he aspired to become. Though Al Green discovered spiritual and musical renewal through gospel, the painful memories of his fractured marriage left lasting scars. His success could never fully erase the shadow of his troubled relationship with Shirley, a reminder that even legends are not immune to heartbreak. Eddie Murphy, hailed as one of Hollywood's greatest comedians, is celebrated not only for his remarkable talent, but also for his turbulent love life. Among his many romances, his marriage to Nicole Mitchell, a model and former beauty queen, became one of the most sensational chapters in his story. Eddie and Nicole wed in 1993 and welcomed 5 children, projecting the image of a picture-perfect Hollywood family. Yet after more than a decade together, cracks began to appear. The demands of their careers created distance, and as Eddie threw himself deeper into film projects, Nicole felt increasingly isolated. Tensions grew worse, with whispers of Eddie's alleged affairs, some involving high-profile actresses, fueling a storm that their marriage could not withstand. In 2005, Eddie and Nicole finalized their divorce, sending shockwaves through the public. The split triggered a lengthy legal battle over custody and assets. Nicole walked away with a substantial settlement, giving her the resources to rebuild her life, while Eddie was left grappling with heavy financial losses and a dented reputation. Though Eddie Murphy continued to thrive as an actor and producer, his marriage to Nicole Mitchell remains a chapter he cannot easily erase. The divorce served as a sobering lesson, reminding him of the need to balance career ambition with family, and how personal choices in love can carry lasting consequences for both reputation and legacy. The story of Eddie Murphy and Nicole Mitchell stands as a stark reminder of the price of fame and the fragile nature of trust in love. Beneath Hollywood's glittering surface often lie hidden wounds, proof that even the brightest stars can be marked by the heartbreak of broken relationships. These marriages, shaped by the weight of fame and outside pressures, remind us that while we admire the glamorous side of celebrity life, the reality behind closed doors is often far more complicated and painful. Love, as powerful as it is, doesn't always survive the demands of career fame and personal struggles. These stories force us to ask, can love truly endure in such an unforgiving spotlight? Or do outside pressures inevitably tear it apart? Each chapter in this series invites us to reflect on the emotional battles of the icons we admire most. What do you think about these couples? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the upcoming episodes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.